It is day 229 of the second Trump administration, if you're wondering why you're so tired. And what a week it has been for this president. His Health and Human Services Secretary, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., faced a grilling on Capitol Hill from both Democrats and Republicans, which is rare. Senators are not happy about his handling of vaccines and the firing of his CDC director. Then there's today's dismal jobs report that suggests the president's economic policies are not having the effect he's been promising, i.e., the economy is slowing. In California, a judge ruled that Trump broke the law when he sent the military to Los Angeles a few months ago. And despite all of his efforts to try to move past the Jeffrey Epstein case, the calls for the administration to release more documents have not stopped, and they continue to grow. With that, let's bring in our nightcap, and you're in luck. It is a fantastic one. My dear friend and homegirl, MSNBC's Ali Vitale. She's our senior Capitol Hill correspondent, but you know her as the host of Way Too Early with Ali Vitale is here. Brendan Greeley, contributing editor at the Financial Times. Paul Rieckhoff, founder and CEO of Independent Veterans of America and host of the Independent Americans podcast. And recent Harvard grad, Tommy Barone. If you didn't know this about him yet, you're going to find out now. He's a Rhodes Scholar and the former editorial chairman of the Harvard Crimson. All right, gang, there's a lot to cover. Paul, I turn to you first because you usually bring the most heat. Let's start with RFK. What do you think the hearing actually showed us about what's happening in our government health agencies?
I think it reminded us how dangerous, radical, and extreme so many people in this administration are. I think this
remember when you saw Brett Kavanaugh testify and thought like, oh my gosh, he's extreme.
Yeah, that was tough to handle, right? But this is a week where we're surrounded by crazy and extreme people who are very close to the levers of power, right? I want to reflect on one thing. Next week is 9/11. People maybe don't know or forget, he's also a pusher of 9/11 conspiracies, right? He says that, this is the kind of stuff that we now have occupying seats within the cabinet. Laura Loomer is making national security recommendations, also, by the way, pushing 9/11 conspiracies. You've got Pete Hegseth. We can't normalize how crazy, extreme, radical, and dangerous many of these people are. And what we have to be reminded about is how close they are to power and how much they've been doing. They're on plan. They're moving things forward. They're denying vaccines. They're rolling the National Guard out into our streets. They're striking targets in Venezuela. They are on plan, and they're doing it with a very extreme, crazy, and dangerous group of people.
Was yesterday's hearing a show, which, let's be honest, they usually are, right? What kills me, these lawmakers on both sides of the aisle have an opportunity to grill RFK or who's ever in that seat. And so many of them eat their time talking. When I want to say, write an op-ed, go on cable news. I'm sure a show will give you time. But was yesterday a show or did it have some sort of impact? Will it?
I think it was a show only because the hearings that would have had impact happened earlier this year, and they were called confirmation hearings. And ultimately, all of the people who had concerns and reservations and wrung their hands ultimately voted for him. And the people that I'm thinking specifically about are the Republicans that we looked at yesterday saying, wow, they really are voicing their concern with what RFK Jr. is doing. And that's Bill Cassidy, who ultimately got behind RFK Jr.'s nomination. And he could have been crucial, not just because he needed the votes to get to the full Senate, but because his vote got him to the full Senate. He wasn't making it out of the Help Committee without doing that. And so he was such a critical vote. And the fact that he was critical yesterday, okay, sure, pressure is important. It's also important when you hear people like John Barrasso, who's not just a senator, he is the #2 Senate Republican. He is close with the White House, close with J.D. Vance. It's important that he was saying, I'm a physician and I know that vaccines work. It's important that we say that. But it doesn't actually change anything.
Okay, he can't be that close to J.D. Vance because only minutes after the hearing, J.D. Vance took to social media and said it was bull. Yeah. Those are his words, our vice president, for any of those Republicans who are pushing RFK.
And yet they did. But I think it's important that we know they did, but it doesn't change anything. Yeah. Because immediately after that hearing, which was insane, many of us who've covered Capitol Hill for a long time are like, whoa, we haven't seen too many things like that in bipartisan fashion. But it doesn't change anything because, to your point, things are moving along with the blueprint. And the White House, as our friend John Allen likes to remind us, has this no scalps mentality that they are not willing to be shamed into firing or moving anyone out of their position.
No, and my mistake, he didn't say, he said these lawmakers are full of shit.
Yes.
Which one could argue is even worse, given how close he is with them.
Yeah, but I agree. Shamelessness is a superpower. For any other president.
It's funny, but it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, for any other president, for any other secretary, this would have been the end of them.
Correct.
You're absolutely right. It was amazing theater, amazing fireworks. These were Cold War level hearings. And we know from Pete Hegseth that you can share classified information over an open channel and keep your seat. They absolutely, Trump understands at a visceral level that any concession is a sign of weakness, and the only thing you can't do is show weakness. You brought up Brett Kavanaugh. That's a perfect example. He came out literally yelling in his confirmation hearings, and the only thing he had to do was show Trump that he was not going to be weak. It's the only thing that matters. There will be no concessions.
And draw a comparison. That Brett Kavanaugh hearing now seems completely sane and normal by comparison. Do you think there's any real pressure on RFK Jr.? Because we've seen ex-HHS staff. We have seen former CDC officials. We have seen medical experts across the board calling for the secretary to resign. Do you think there's any real pressure for him to do so?
Listen, I mean, I don't know if he's going to resign, but I think I'm a little bit less cynical about the idea that this is totally costless. I think that plenty of Americans see RFK Jr. ranting and raving in front of a panel of senators and think, why is my crazy uncle in charge of public health in this country? And I think that what we're basically seeing right now is that the Trump Republican Party's inclination to give ground to conspiracists, to empower them, often has been a Faustian bargain. I think we're seeing it come home to roost, and we're seeing that people like Pete Hegseth and RFK Jr. being before the eyes of the nation is not a good look for the Trump administration. It's something they'd rather not have dominate the press agenda for the next couple of days. And I do think that we're going to see it, again, come home to roost in the midterms.
Okay, but I want to go back to what you said,
midterms.
because to your original point, they're executing their plan and it's working. Because on one hand, you have RFK Jr. say, yes, I think Donald Trump deserves to win the Nobel Prize for the development of Operation Warp Speed, which I would argue was extraordinary. And at the same time, he is cutting the funding that was used to create Operation Warp Speed, to create that vaccine.
This is the week where Trump and Hegseth and Kennedy gave the middle finger to everybody.
Yeah.
They said, you're not stopping us.
because they didn't laugh.
I was gonna say.
They said, we don't have
Both of those other
Today was both middle fingers.
They said, we don't have to tell you anything. We don't have to give you information about a strike we did in Venezuelan waters. We don't have to comment today on the fact that now it's been disclosed that there was a Navy SEAL operation in North Korea. They're not talking about how they're deploying our troops on the most severe and important and critical issues, especially around national security, because Kennedy involves national security, right? Let's not vaccinate the country. What does that do to our national security? What does that do to our troops, right? All of this is saying you can't stop us. And unfortunately, it's true. Right now, I don't think there's a whole lot of cost right now. They're chugging along. And maybe there are a couple
Okay,
speed
well, hold
bumps
on.
that gets in the
Tommy said
way,
something-
but they
Brendan,
keep going.
yes.
I was just going to agree. The lack of effort that went into the justification for that strike off the coast of Venezuela actually is both middle fingers.
It is.
They don't care. And in showing that, like, I don't know, we're going to have somebody type up a piece of paper. It doesn't really matter what's on the paper. And what it says on the paper is he's the president, so it's going to be fine. That's not an actual effort to craft a legal justification. It's actually both middle fingers saying we don't care, we didn't have to do this, and it doesn't matter.
Well,
But Tommy maybe, oh, yes.
Well, and I was going to say, I mean, less splashy, but maybe even more important is that Senator Mark Warner, we learned this week, can't even go to intelligence agencies and get a briefing if Laura Loomer hears about it and puts the kibosh on it. So not only are we
Holy smokes.
So, not only are we seeing, some of these high-profile military actions, the 2019 strike that the New York Times reported today, the Venezuelan strike, that do raise serious questions, and that, Pete Hegseth is somehow the one overseeing. But also we're now learning that the senators who can put guardrails on this, who can reveal information about what's going wrong to the public, are being shut out.
But I also think you're watching some of those senators who are willing to be critical, whether it's Tom Tillis or Joni Ernst, who at one point waffled on Hegseth and then ultimately was herself pushed back into line. They are choosing now to leave the Senate, not run for re-election, because the writing's on the wall that you're either with them or you're against them. And if you're against them, it's not going to last long anyway. And I think that's the deeper, more long-lasting impact here of what Trumpism will do even after Trump is gone, which is that the party is entirely remade in his image now, in the House, certainly, in the Senate now after the 2026 cycle. Yeah.
Okay, but I want you to comment on Tommy's thoughts that America did watch their crazy uncle. And the reason I bring it up is because many of the people who support the MAHA, Make America Healthy Again movement, are not the MAGA types, right? Many of us at this table could agree we need an overhaul of our healthcare system in this country. We need to take a look at the food that we eat. We need to take a look at what goes into our processed foods. A lot of people buy into that. What they don't buy into is when they actually see who RFK is and what he's doing. So Tommy does have an interesting point that a lot of those yoga mamas that I know, I live with, I adore, who have an open heart and open mind to him, watch that and they're thinking, maybe not.
Maybe not. And I do think I'm not someone who believes that public pressure means absolutely nothing. I'm an optimist. I do believe that when enough people see things that look a little weird at best or sound outright insane at worst, they're going to be like, all right, is there a way for us to pump the brakes here? But we're not actually at an inflection point where any of that can happen unless and until the White House decides that the public pressure has become too much. And I think on MAHA specifically, it's why RFK Jr. occupies this really special space in Trump world that maybe gives him a longer leash. And it's because when he made his Faustian bargain to come in with the president during last summer, he brought with him a coalition. It's not the MAGA base, but it is a new part of the MAGA base. And it allowed Trump to expand to people who maybe weren't initially inclined to vote for him. RFK has his own coalition baked in, however small. Now, Trump won't be on the ballot again, and so it doesn't necessarily matter politically like that, but that kind of loyalty matters to Trump still.